Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update news show. Reports coming out that Manchester United are going all out in the January window. We're talking Ruben Neves, 20 million deal. We're talking Semenyo. United going all out and have now a feeling they could potentially beat Manchester City to the signing of Semenyo. This is positive news. This is good news. But this is news basically saying that United are ready to go all out and go for Semenyo, and it looks like INEOS are ready to act in the transfer window. There is also news stories coming out that Mainoo is now considering a permanent exit from Manchester United, and his relationship with the club is at breaking point. We will talk about that. There's been a lot of what I would say in regards to Mainoo is obviously there's the brother wearing a t-shirt, his brother being a bit of a dickhead. And I feel like the media are going to use what Mainoo's brother's done to dramatize stories to get clicks. So I don't know if, Mainoo's relationship with the club is now at breaking point, or his brother's wore the t-shirt. Let's write his relationship with the club is now at breaking point, because that's the best time for this article to make some kind of impact. That's how journalism works. They'll have stories about Mainoo not having a good relationship with the club, and then they'll wait until something like that happens with Kobe's brother to release it, etc. But yes, let's get into the news. Let's get into the stories, and let's start by talking about Antoine Semenyo. So it's been said that Manchester United are going all out. Manchester United ready to act in the January window. Manchester United ready to do business in the January window, and that is good. I will say this now before I even actually get into the Semenyo news. There is a big opportunity to do something in January. There is a big opportunity to do something in the January transfer window. Huge opportunity, yeah? Because we've won 2 of our last 7 games, and we've gone from 9th to 6th. 5th place should get Champions League football. 4th definitely will. We know that City and Arsenal are going to be top 2. Villa and Chelsea look like they're going to be 3rd and 4th, but you just don't know. So Liverpool could sneak 5th, United could sneak 5th, Tottenham could sneak 5th. Liverpool haven't looked great. Tottenham haven't looked great. I know we haven't looked great. But I honestly think the team that does the best business in January is the team that's going to get that last UCL spot. And I think Man United see an opportunity of, okay, we need a midfielder. We can't get the midfielders we want to the summer, so it's going to be hard. But if we can bring Semenyo in and then Ruben Neves in, who's an obvious improvement on Agate, even if Ruben Neves isn't a long-term solution, this could get us Champions League football, which could get us Elliot Anderson. Because if we don't get Champions League football, our chances of getting Elliot Anderson, who should be number 1, is quite slim, believe it or not. So I do think that maybe that is why United are ready to go all out. We will talk about the Villa game. I am a bit worried. Casemiro suspended, no De Ligt, no Maguire, no Masraoui, no Ahmad, no Mbumo. I am worried. But yes, let me go back into this news here. United will go all out to sign Semenyo in January and hope that the uncertainty of Guardiola's future could strengthen their hand. Now, I don't know if you I don't know if you saw the report yesterday that basically City are looking at Maresca because Guardiola could go. I don't want to say this in case it's wrong, but I read something about something Guardiola did that might have upset the City owners, but I don't know the truth in that. But Guardiola could leave City at the end of the year. They're looking at Maresca. That might put Semenyo off Man City if he is unsure about the future, the 115 charges. You never know. Part of me thinks Semenyo is going to end up at Liverpool and Salah's going to go to Saudi. But interestingly, James Jaka said United will go all out. Apparently, we're ready to go all out in January. Now, Manchester United have said they will only act in the January window if they see opportunities. Semenyo for 65 million is an opportunity. Now, I know what we're all thinking. Well, we need 2 midfielders. We need 2 midfielders ASAP. Elliot Anderson is not available in January. Carlos Baleba is not available in January. Adam Wharton is not available in January. They're 3 of the midfielders that Man United want. None are available in January. If Elliot Anderson had a 65 million release clause, I think Manchester United would have already triggered it. Do you know what I mean? I think United would have looked at that way before Semenyo. We're not going for Semenyo and ignoring the midfield. We can't get the midfielders we want, so we're going for Semenyo until the midfielders we want become available. That is the situation at Manchester United. It's Semenyo, Agate go out on loan, maybe bring someone like Jan Gomez or Ruben Neves in, so we have an extra option for depth, who isn't the answer to what we need in terms of ground coverage, but someone that's an improvement on the ball and what we currently have. That is United's game plan, basically. It is go all out, get a temporary midfield signing in, get Semenyo in if we can, get to the summer. Hopefully this gets us Champions League football, get Elliot Anderson in the summer. Go big on midfield in the summer. United are going to sign 3 midfielders in 2026. One is going to be a sort of Ruben Neves type signing that might not be as exciting, like Arsenal signed Norgard, but there will be 2 big midfield signings. Nearly every credible source has said that United will sign 2 big midfielders. Toby is back, signed Semenyo. Toby Collier is injured. And with the way that Toby Collier has been spoken about by Amarin, I mean, is he going to even get minutes? Do you know what I mean? Maresca denying Ornstein's claims, what do you expect him to do? I mean, why would he not deny that? He's at Chelsea. He can't be like, yeah, I want to go to City. João Gomez won't be available on loan. Wolves will only do a permanent. And I think it depends. If Wolves would sell him for 40 million, I think United would go for João Gomez. But United ready to go all out to sign Semenyo. There is a lot of Semenyo news at the moment in regards to Manchester United, a lot of Semenyo stories. And it does look like and feel like we are ready to go all out for Antoine Semenyo. I want to read out a few other stories. But it's now been said by Alex Crook that the January move for Antoine Semenyo is very likely. However, who he goes to is unknown. City, Liverpool, United and Tottenham are pushing for Semenyo and very keen. So that was said by Alex Crook as well. There's also updates coming up about Dan Ashworth. And I told you this. How many times? This story's just come out. How many times have I told you this? How many times have I told you this? A source on INEOS trying to find a new manager to replace Erik ten Hag. They were running around like headless chickens trying to find a new manager. It's a big mistake. They should have gone for Amarin then, but Dan Ashworth was against that one. Dan Ashworth was against signing Amarin in the first place, and he got sacked for it. I told you that a million times. That story's come out today. And when I said that story, I got accused of lying when I said that Dan Ashworth didn't want Amarin. And I said, I generally had a really good source tell me that. But yeah, I wanted to talk in more news, more transfer news. There's an opportunity to get Champions League football. United have got an opportunity to do something. And the January window is like, if you get Semenyo and even Ruben Neves or João Gomez in, that could push us and make the squad strong enough to sneak that last Champions League spot. Because what we do know, and Andy Mitten said this on his Talk of the Devils podcast, is we want a midfielder. We're not going for Semenyo because we're ignoring a midfielder. We just can't get the midfielder that we want in January. Andy Mitten said this, by the way, on the Talk of the Devils podcast. Andy Mitten on summer signings. There's 3 or 4 more players that United are looking at in those positions beside Anderson, Watt and Baleba. United will get one of those players. So Andy Mitten is saying United will look to get one of Anderson, Watt and Baleba, at least one. Baleba's the most realistic. Anderson is the best option. I stand by what I said about Elliot Anderson, but Man City want him and can probably offer him more money than United and Champions League football. So whenever United sign, there needs to be a repeat of what happened with Cunha and Mbeumo, who actively wanted to join Man United because they're miles bigger than someone like City. All the clubs are going to be going for the same players because the number 6 role is key and there's not many proven players in the Premier League doing it. United would be a suitor, but these players have other options. There are other names that haven't gotten out there who Man United are looking at. So Andy Mitten has basically said, United are going to sign a number 6. The issue is City want a number 6. Liverpool probably want number 6. Tottenham want a number 6. And there's not many number 6 options out there. So Baleba, Anderson, Wharton are kind of wanted by everyone. Last season, we got Cunha and Mbeumo. We're sort of hoping that Baleba would do what Mbeumo does. There's a belief that Baleba's going to do what Cunha and Mbeumo did. The problem is, if Baleba's form doesn't improve between now and the end of the season, do we want him? That is the question. But there's a feeling Baleba would be willing to do what Cunha and Mbeumo did. United are worried that Wharton would look elsewhere, Anderson would look elsewhere. City can offer Anderson more money. City can offer Anderson Champions League football. If we get Champions League football and Pep leaves Manchester City, then potentially we can say we're the bigger club. We can offer him more money because we've got Champions League football. We could potentially do that with Anderson. But he's saying, he doesn't know if Elliot Anderson would do what Cunha and Mbeumo will do in the summer, where they'll say, United are picking you. In the summer, those are 3 options available. There's a belief we can get Baleba. But interestingly, Andy Mitten did come out and say there's a few midfield names that haven't gotten out that Man United are also looking at. So it'll be interesting to see who those midfield names are. I know there's been links to Tyler Adams and João Gomez. I know there's been links to Angelo Stiller. But who could the other midfield names be? Is it the young midfielder in the Bundesliga we've been linked to? Is it Keith Smith that we got linked to once? But then they say there hasn't even gotten out. So maybe there's someone we haven't even been linked to we're looking at. Siddiqui from Sunderland wouldn't shock me. Agome from Seville wouldn't shock me. Who's the guy at Monaco? His name always slips my name. The young one. Boadi? I think, yeah, but it'd be interesting. Most of Wolves players are leaving. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity to get João Gomez, particularly in the summer, but maybe January. But United are also looking at other midfield options. I like Siddiqui. It'll be interesting. I think we can get Baleba. I don't think we're going to get Elliot Anderson. I want Elliot Anderson more than anyone, but I don't think we're going to get him. However, we're going to talk about midfield. Now, I did a video, I'm going to say 2 days ago, where I spoke about Ruben Neves coming in because his contract is up in the summer and Agate being able to go. Now, in that video, I spoke about a lot of news reports that INEOS would be willing to let Agate go out on loan if we sign a midfielder, and that Agate is open to an exit. Now, the reason INEOS are willing to let Agate go out on loan is because he's not playing. They've decided they want to sell him in the summer. They've realised maybe he needs to go on loan in January, get some minutes in his legs so we can get as much money as we can for him in the summer and increase his value. You know, Anthony went on loan in January and he did well on loan, so not that Anthony's value increased much because Betis gave us F all, but that's the hope of the guy. Now, we're not going to let Guy go anywhere if we don't have a midfield signing because we're thin on midfield. You know, we've got a Casemiro suspension, a guy is probably going to play the next game, la, 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 la. But we know that United and INEOS have basically made the internal decision that they don't think our guy is good enough. Ruben Amorim's gone off them. He's not playing. They want him gone in the summer. He's not going to play. We're not really going to do well getting anything from him in the summer. So it's, can we get him on loan in January? We're not going to let him go on loan unless we bring in a midfielder. Bringing in a midfielder in January is going to be difficult. Ruben Neves, has emerged as an option for United in the January window, and the Portuguese midfielder is keen on a return to the Premier League. He knows Bruno, he knows Ruben Amorim. There is a feeling that we could go for Neves. So I want to talk about the Ruben Neves news. Obviously, I spoke about it the other day, how if we go for Neves, that gives the green light for Agate to go. And I think that even though he's got some limitations, Neves, it would be a smart deal to do. So yeah, let's talk about what's come out on Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves is keen on a return to the Premier League and has emerged as an option for Manchester United in January. Al Hilal were prepared to let him go for 20 million. Now, the figure I read earlier was 15 million a few days ago. It's now changed to 20 million. I think 15 million, boom. 20 million, I'm okay with, because Ruben Neves is, 27 or was he 28? He's still got a few years in him. I think he's 28. Ruben Neves is, he's 28 years of age. He's still got a couple years in him. I'm not against it. Is Ruben Neves what we need? No, he's not Elliot Anderson. He's not Baleba. He's not the answer. But is he an upgrade on Agate? Yes. Like, that's the simple fact. And I think if you can get, Agate can go on loan, you can sell him for 30 million, you bring Ruben Neves in for 15, 20 million. Ruben Neves, who's open to a Man United move, keen on a return to the Premier League. Ruben Neves is not expected to sign a new contract at Al Hilal because he wants to go back to the Premier League. Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, Portuguese links. There was always a feeling when we were meant to sign Neves. Before he went to Saudi, there was always a feeling. You know, like De Ligt. You know how we didn't sign De Ligt, he went to Juventus, but there was always that feeling that we were meant to get De Ligt that summer and he went to Juventus. There was a feeling a few summers ago that we were meant to get Ruben Neves and we never got him. He stayed at Wolves and then he went to Saudi. I feel like Ruben Neves, like De Ligt, is one of those players that was always meant to come to United. I don't know why. And look, I would take Ruben Neves for 20 million. I saw Sam People say this, and I agree with him. Neves in and Agate out on loan in January for the season with an obligation. Like, if Neves comes in, we can get rid of Agate, who's open to leaving. I did all the Agate reports 2 days ago. He's open to leaving. United are open to letting him go. It's a squad improvement. Not exactly a big ground coverage player, is he? But he's better than what we currently have. So with Ruben Neves, he's not, that is the answer, that is what our midfield needs. No, we need a big ground coverage player in midfield and we'll still struggle. But if Casemiro is injured, would you rather Agate come in or Ruben Neves come in? You'd rather Ruben Neves come in because he's like Casemiro off the ball. He can't cover crazy amounts of ground, but he's a good player. He's good on the ball. We know he can do it in the Premier League. Yes, he's been in Saudi for 2 years, but I watched him with Al Hilal at the Club World Cup against all the big sides. Did not look out of place. I've watched him for Portugal in international duty. Does not look out of place. I personally wouldn't go for a lot of players that have gone to Saudi, but Ruben Neves is one that I would go for because I think he's got the mentality, the attitude, the mindset, but also he's still been good when he's had to come up against a higher level. There is a worry that, he's a liability off the ball, but I think Agate out, Neves in, I'm open for it. Would I prefer João Gomez? Yes. Would I love Elliot Anderson in January? Absolutely. I think we'd all love Elliot Anderson in January. We can't get the midfielders we want in January. We don't know if we can get João Gomez. We can't get Tyler Adams. Sadiki we probably can't get. It's Neves or bust. It's Neves or no one, really. Maybe we can look at a Gomez, see if we can get something there if we push Seville. But United are putting this emphasis on we want someone that we know can do it in the Prem. For me, for 20 million, I take it. I'd rather him be 15. I mean, you can't compare João Neves and Ruben Neves. João Neves is one of the best midfielders in football. But Ruben Neves is a very good player. Do you know what I mean? Neves, Mainoo, Bruno. I like that. I can't lie. I like Casemiro as well, but I do quite like that because there is talk of Amorim moving to a midfield 3. There is a lot of talk of Amorim moving to a midfield 3. And that'll be interesting to see what happens there. I want to just dive into a few other news stories if I can find what I want to talk about. But like Man United are looking at potentially moving more towards a 4-3-3 or 4 at the back formation. It was said that Amorim adapted his preferred 3-4-2-1 formation against Bournemouth to more of a fluid 4-4-2 at times and is expected to utilise the back 4 over the coming weeks with the loss of some important players. I'm going to say this now, as someone that's been wanting Amorim to move to a back 4, and you actually think all our best moments versus Bournemouth was when we were back 4. As soon as he went back to back 5, we were pretty crap versus Bournemouth. But I will say this. So let me actually see if I can find the graphic of Amorim's back 4, okay? Because I feel like the back 4 would be so much better with Mazraoui and Mbeumo and Amad. Let me see if I can find the graphic. I saw something really interesting posted by, I think it was Opta. And it was actually showing how Ruben Amorim is lining us up, like Ruben Amorim's new plan to line us up. So I want to see if I could, there it is. Here we go. So, let me share my screen. So there's talk of Ruben Amorim going to a back 4 because the players were losing. And these were the average positions in the first half versus Bournemouth, where we played some of our best football. And we basically, versus Bournemouth, we played 4 at the back in the first half, was fantastic. Came out in the second half with 5 at the back, was atrocious. Then brought Mainoo on and went back to 4 at the back and scored 2 goals. Just saying. But this is actually how we looked versus Bournemouth in the first half. This is the average positions. This is Opta. This is, proper data. As you can see, Yoro's the right back. So we thought it was Yoro right centre back, Amad right wing back, and Mbeumo right 10. But actually, what it was is I think if you have Mazraoui right centre back, aka right back, if you had Mazraoui here instead of Yoro, and you have, that is a very good team. That is a very good team. If you have Mazraoui there instead of Yoro, that is a very good team. Now, I'm not saying that I like Yoro, by the way. I think he's mint centre back. I'm just saying, like, Yoro is not right back. So we want to do this when we don't have a right back in Mazraoui, so we'll play Yoro out position at right back. We don't have a right winger in Amad. Like, we finally play a 4 at the back, but we don't have wingers. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm glad that Amorim's looking to change to a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, but Amad and Mbeumo are the only real wingers in the squad, and Yoro's not a right back. The 2 wingers and the right back have gone, so that kind of confuses me to why we're doing it now and why we didn't do it when they were here. But I do think maybe this is why we're going for Semenyo. A lot of people talk about Semenyo being a left wing back, but maybe this is why we're going for Semenyo. Semenyo on the left there. You've got Cunha or Mount that can be in the 10. You've got Bruno that can be in the 10, and Mainoo could be next to Casemiro. You've got Mbeumo up top, Amad on the right. I could see why we would go for Semenyo. If this is maybe the long-term plan. Someone says, keep complaining by ... What's that mean? I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I like what Ruben Amorim's done here. I'm just surprised he wants to do it when the three of the most important players for this to work would be at AFCON. Yoro's not a right back. We don't have a winger when Mbeumo and Amad are gone. So that's all I was saying. Shea Lacey should play. He won't, but it'd be nice to see that. Conceded 4 at the back. We didn't know. That's the thing. We conceded 2 with a 5. We played 45 minutes with a back 4. We played really well, and we were unlucky to be, 1-1, was it? Or were 2-1 up? We were 2-1 up, yeah? We were 2-1 up at half-time. We played with this back 4, and we were unlucky. Then we come out in the second half, because we got the lead, we go back to a back five. We come out in the second half of a back five. Within 5 minutes, we conceded 2 with the back five. Yeah? So then we go back to a back four and we score 2. Then Amarin says sit off and we concede again. So that's all I'm saying. I don't think you can say the back four conceded 4, because actually we changed to a back 5 when we conceded the 2 in quick successions. And the data backs that up. The data of the first half, how we started the second half, and how we finished the second half is different. So, yeah. But maybe Semenyo for Mount, maybe that's what we're looking at. But we looked better in a 4. Like, he doesn't take a genius to point that out. But I'm worried about going to a back 4 if Yoro's going to be the right back. Who's going to be the right winger? Because we've got no Ahmed and we've got no Mbumo. Because he's not going to play Lacey. Is Cunha going to go to the right? Is Seska going to go up top? Is Mainoo going to go in the middle and Bruno go further up? That's my only question. Like, if we're going to do this with them at AFCON, who's going to play where? That was my only concern. I think back fives can work. I think it's the way it's used. But I think because we come up against low blocks, ultimately, I just think we look better in a back 4. I just ultimately think we look better in a back 4, personally. And that's not because I prefer back 4. I just think we do. I'm not saying that we play a back 4 and we win the league, or we play a back 4 and we get Champions League football. But I do think naturally with the squad we have, we will naturally be better in a 4. I want to talk about Kobbie Mainoo, by the way. Okay. Kobbie Mainoo is now considering a permanent exit from Manchester United. His relationship with the club is now at breaking point. First things first. Do I think this story would be coming out right now if Kobbie Mainoo's brother didn't wear that t-shirt? No. Do I think that all the media attention is on Kobbie Mainoo and his brother, that I think these stories are coming out for a dramatic effect? Yes. Kobbie Mainoo doesn't have a good relationship with the club. But what we know is Kobbie Mainoo wants to go out on loan because he still wants to make it work at United. He just wants to go out on loan because there's a World Cup and he wants minutes out of the World Cup. Then you've got people dramatising this story, pretending that Kobbie knew about his brother wearing the t-shirt, which is not true. He didn't know about his brother wearing the t-shirt because I spoke to somebody who said he didn't actually know. But the media are trying to make out, or maybe he did know. How can we create a dramatic story? It is very much a simple of, Kobbie Mainoo will probably go in January on loan. Kobbie Mainoo is not happy at the club. He wants to play. There's a World Cup ahead. He wants minutes. I think Amarin hasn't been fair to him. But I do think the media is almost like, I don't think this story would be coming out right now if it wasn't for his brother wearing the shirt. I do think the media is like, okay, how do we get clicks? Everyone's talking about Mainoo. Let's do a story like Mainoo is done, Mainoo is finished, Mainoo is over, Mainoo is being kicked out. I generally think that his club isn't at breaking point. I just think he's unhappy. He wants a loan. I think INEOS know what talent they got on Kobbie Mainoo, that they're not going to be like, F him, he's done. Some people think F him, he's done because of what his brother's done. But, yeah. I personally believe that he didn't know that. That's just because I personally believe the person that DM'd me, because the person that DM'd me has told me stuff before. Like, I think if I knew my brother was going to wear that shirt and I wasn't playing, I'd say to my brother, don't wear that shirt. It's just going to bring more negative attention on me because it's not going to help me get more minutes. Someone DM'd me who has DM'd me about stuff in the past, and he said, I'm going to let you know he 100% didn't know. And I trust that person that DMs me. I trust that person, whatever he says that DMs me. If that person that DM'd me told me that Kobbie did know, then I would say, okay, apparently Kobbie did know. Like, so for me, I trust the person that DM'd me who said that Kobbie didn't know. And he DM'd me, I didn't even ask him. He was just like, just so you know. And I trust that person because he's told me stuff about the academy that has been accurate in the past. I think everything he's told me bar one thing was accurate. And the one thing he told me wasn't accurate is because it actually was accurate, but then something happened last minute that stopped something happening. So I personally trust him. But look, I'd be surprised if Kobbie knew, because how's that going to help him? How's that going to help him? And I just think the media love making a spectacle out of things and dramatising things. I think the media love this, okay, this is happening with Kobbie. Let's make a spectacle out of it. Let's dramatise it. You know, I feel like that's what the media is about. Am I lagging, guys? I'm trying to load something to share with you guys, and it's not loading. So I don't know if my Wi-Fi's gone, or maybe it's just, I don't know, X is acting slow. Dorgu's only started 2 of United's last 10 games. Luckhurst is now doing reports that Dorgu's been ruined by United. He's not been ruined. He's been here a year. Don't know what nonsense it is. Ruben Neves has reintegrated Kobe in private, and he is in direct competition with Bruno for the attacking midfield role, right? Is what's been said by Chris Wheeler. When pictures of Kobe's brother wearing a Free Naples shirt reached Naples on Monday night, there was a buzz of excitement. Napoli want Mainoo's brother. Sorry, Napoli want Mainoo, not Mainoo's brother. I'm just reading some of the reports going about. United have doubts over Dorgu and want Semenyo as wing backs, as some sources. United are worried about the Villa game. Well, yeah, there's no Casemiro, there's no Mazraoui, there's no Ahmed, there's no Mbumo, there's no Maguire, there's no De Ligt. Did you see McTominay's interview? I did. Very professional interview. McTominay, I've always said this, didn't like him under Ollie in the pivot, but I said I'd never question his professionalism. One of the best attitudes we've ever had. De Ligt and Maguire not expected back for our next game. Leacher, it's unknown if he's fit to start. So yeah, that's all the news, people. That is all the news. Big up everybody for watching today's live stream covering the transfer news and more. Thank you everyone for watching. I will be back tonight with a 10-minute roundup or maybe another live stream if there's any breaking transfer news. See you next time. Bye.